it's very important for you to understand this component of research, this aspect of your research proposal, of your research writing. And the first one is which we're going to talk about on this presentation is importance or significance of research, limitation, what the study is not, and validity and reliability of this of part of your study. Looking at how this presentation is being structured, is structured in this as in this 4, 5, 6 aspect to consider, which we're going to talk about. The last part of it is the layout of the study. Now, when you talk about when you are writing a research proposal, research grant, and so on and so forth, there's a need for you to talk about the significant. So research is significant, not only contribute to the development of knowledge and advancement of knowledge and development of a new theory, but also it provides solution to complex problems in various sectors. So now, when you write your research, on this section of your research, the important or the significant part of it, you'll be able to let the reader understand how this study, how this your research is going to advance knowledge, going to develop theory, as the case may be, if you're developing theory, but also how it's going to solve problems that are known, that you can see, that you have searched within the literature. How it's gonna solve a problem that within your problem statement, how it's going to address the objective of the study. So there are 4 component aspects when you are writing this section of your research. You need to be able to, so when you write the significant and the important part of it, you need to bear in mind, you need to cover these 4 areas. The first one is the concept, the contextual, or the study background. So within the importance or significance of your research, you should be able to cover what the background of the study. So try to dip in a little bit, not in too much. You need to be able to cover the aspect of what the background of the study, provide the stage for the significant. At what stage is this study going to provide the solution that you are trying to problem that you are trying to solve? Okay, you should to let the reader to understand the research gap that you identify, because that will also give the reader that understanding to say that actually that this study which we are trying to this research which we are trying to conduct, that is going to do what, there is a research, there is a gap is going to fill in. So provide the gap you intend to fill, you intend to fill in. Also try to understand, they need to cover the part of the potential impact of that very study, highlighting the possible findings that might enhance academic knowledge, impact policy, reform practice, and societal benefit. That should be captured under the section of the significance of the study. Now, the last but not the least part of by the time you are able to provide all these 3 aspects, you have to write all these 3 aspects of the significance. Now, you should let the reader to understand. Now, look at the contribution I'm going to make. This study is going to provide. Now, the first contribution is going to be it will be on the part of theoretical, which discuss how the current research will add current models or theory if you are developing a new theory or modifying a theory. But if that is not the case, the practical aspect should also come in by explaining the practical use or the application and the findings benefit of the study. So by so doing, you are able to tell the reader that yes, this study might have identified the problem, but look at how the solution, look at how the problem will be addressed, look at how to put it into practice to make sure that the problem that have been identified, the research that have been identified, look at how it's going to be addressed. Very important. Citation is key when you're writing the significant part of your study because you're able to connect the existing knowledge to what you are writing by letting the reader to understand that what so far people have done this, researchers have done that, but something is still that is still gap. And look at what the researchers have been saying. Maybe you're able to find researchers that are calling for solution, that are proposing what you want to do. Then you bring them in, saying based on this, look at this number of researchers have also proposed for research to be done in this area. So now you are now pitching your tent based on those recommendations by other researchers, and then you put your citation there to prove that your claims are valid enough. Okay, what about the limitations of the study? The research limitations are factors or constraints that might impact the extent to which a research can be conducted and the conclusion that can be drawn. Now, what are the limitations? What are the things that can constrain your study? What are the boundaries? What are the focus areas of the study? So under this, we're going to consider the four critical aspects what can be a limitation of the study. So we have a methodological limitation, explaining any forms of limitation concern research design, population size, and so on and so forth. You're able to tell the reader that this study will be limited based on this population, this research design, and everything. I'm going to tell you why you need this limitation of the study along the line. So you also bring that kind of external validity, okay? And in terms of discussing possible factors to limit the studies, finding generability, that okay, based on this, that you can't tell, you're able to tell the reader based on what you're gonna find out or what you have found out, that your findings may not be able to apply to this section, the society of practice, of knowledge, and so on and so forth. This body of knowledge is not going to be applied in that area, so on and so forth. What about the internal validity? Identify possible biases and any contradictory variables that can impact on the study, and then practical reality constraints, which can be logistic issues, financial issues, and so on and so forth, which will impact the study. So now, based on this, you found out that the limitation of the study is not showing the weakness part of the study, but is your ability to be realistic enough to say, okay, that this study will not solve all the problems in the world, but look at why is it not gonna solve all the problems in the world in the field? It's gonna solve this particular problem. We're going to use this population size. We're going to use this research design. Look at the sample size and look at the statistical measurement that the study is going to focus. Look at where we're going to collect the study. You're not going to collect the study in all the sectors. We are limited to this particular group within that very sector. And all these things are there to you guide you against any, to help you to block any kind of expectation that is not within what you are trying to do. So the limitation of the study is very important to focus, to define the boundaries, the focus area of the study. Very important. At this level of the study, you can also be able to bring in citations to justify your claims or what you're trying to say and everything. Much more on the part of financial, because someone can say, oh, you're making this financial excuse because of blah 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 blah. But now, no, that whatever you're saying, the financial people have done similar studies, and they were affected financially in carrying out their study. You bring them in, you bring those existing knowledge citations to support that you are going to be constrained, or you were constrained by finances, logistics, and other temporal constraints, which maybe timing and so on and so forth. So when you're able to bring citations to it, you're able to tell the reader that your claims are not just based on mere claims, but based on scientific claims. Okay, and that will make your study much more quality. Now we're going to another section that says what the study is not. This is different from the limitation. Now the limitation talks about you defining the boundary where the study, the extent and what and the extent and what within that extent, the constraint and the thing that can prevent from. Now, under what the study is not, we are simply trying to tell that the study does not intend to cover certain pursuit based on level of criteria which can be relevant, feasibility, and potential challenge. These three factors can be a defining moment to say, okay, that what this study is not gonna do this, they're not gonna do this, it's not gonna be it's not gonna do that. Based on feasibility, based on potential challenge. You're able to say, okay, fine, the relevance of this study will not be applied to that section. For argument's sake, it's okay. No, you're gonna be talking about the impact of generative AI in teaching and learning, right? But within this teaching and learning, you are talking about at the level of higher education. So someone will not judge you. What about secondary? Or you say, okay, again, I'm talking about technical colleges. You're not talking about universities. Okay, that is it. Or college of education. So you're not talking about. So you're able to pinch. Okay, this my study is gonna focus on this area. It's not gonna be talking about. You're focusing on. You have already defined the scope, right? It's gonna focus on higher universities. You're able to tell the reader that okay, no, this study is not gonna be applied to technical colleges, educational colleges, and so on and so forth. And that is it. So you are now being said, okay, it's gonna focus on it, but it's not gonna focus on that. So by explicitly stating what the study does not cover, that or address, that is what the study is not. So another station, you're only talking about what the study will not cover. It will not cover A, B, C. The researchers can manage expectations and prevent any kind of misinterpretation of the research findings. So when you're able to define what you are not going to look into or what the study were not able to cover, you're able to close any forms of argument towards your findings or any forms of expectation. Remember, readers have expectations about your study and they expect to see something. But then you're telling them, okay, what you want to see is not what I've done or what I want to do. So judge me based on what I said the study will do, not based on what you think the study should do. And that is it. So this practice help to close all this kind of to limit that very boundary in supporting the scope of the study. Okay, highlighting the areas were intentionally excluded or beyond the scope of the study, all the area that is being excluded. So you are able to say, okay, the study will not cover this. Look at all the exclusions on this study. And that is it. So to achieve what the study is not, you should be able to define the scope of the study, then define exclusions, and then other different kinds of reasonings. Okay, so when the time on the scope, you're able to say, okay, look at the scope of this study. You're able to say, okay, look at all the exclusions, what the aspects that are not covered on this very study. You're able to bring them in, and then be able to say, okay, why are you excluding those? Why are you excluding those variables, those aspects? You're able to tell the reader, sorry, why you're excluding those aspects. However, it's very important for you to bring in citations at this level. It's allowed because your citations also makes that very point very clear that whatever you are talking is not based on mere claim, but others might have similar experience that have defined that also help you to say, okay, that based on what you're talking about, other people who have done similar study look at also your argument is based on what they have done. You bring those authors in, those scholars in to help you to do or to build your argument very well. Validity and reliability. This is a very critical aspect of research. Every research must be tested on validity and reliability. Under validity, what we're talking about, it shows that the study measure what it tend to measure. Okay, in this case right now, remember when you're starting a research proposal and everything, you need to bring it in. However, when the study has been done, this should also be reinforced to show that the study actually measure what it attempt to measure. But at the level of your proposal, what this does for you is this, that you're able to tell the reader that what, hold on, that this study is going to focus, is going to do this, is going to measure this, right? But by the time you are done, you actually prove that the study have actually measured what intend to measure. So at the beginning of at the time of your proposal, what you are trying to, the statement you are trying to make is that what the study wants to measure. But by the time you are done, you are able to prove that you have measured what you attempt to measure. So under the validity, you're talking about constraint, right? Does the study measure what it wants to measure? You're able to prove it. So as your reader be able to trust your findings. Internal validity is concerned with establishing the cause and effect relationship between variables within the studies and ruling out alternative explanations. Very important that based on all the kinds of hypotheses that you're able to list those hypotheses, all kinds of hypotheses that you are able to carry out, that they look at the cost and the effect within the study, the variables you have tested. The external part is all about indicating that the study findings will be used outside the research sample. That despite that you have done the study with, let's say, a particular, for example, that I've given before, generative AI in higher education, teaching and learning, right? You're able to use institution, but now this study can also be used in another institution, and it's still going to have a similar findings or something of that nature. And what about the face validity? Confirm that the content will be suitable to the aim. Now, remember, these are the level of proposal, which when you are done, you're able to prove all these points, all these validities and aspect and reliability as well. On the face value, when someone looks at your proposal, your document you are presenting, they can be able to tell the quality, what you want to do without going deep into the study. So the face validity confirm that the content is suitable, that whatever you are presenting, the content, the headings, they are all linked towards achieving the aim of the study. So by the time you are done, the reader will be able to see, okay, that whatever you are presented actually leads to what you have found out. Because I've seen a situation whereby some researchers made that very mistake, whereby the topic, the aim, the methodology, the questions and objectives are not linked. So, but now on the face value, someone can tell, okay, that this topic says this, but when I look at the introduction, it says something different. That is face validity. But when you're able to prove that the face validity is okay, that when someone looks at your topic, then skips around and look at your introduction, can tell, okay, that this study actually is going to do this, and look at the method you have used by merely looking at the document, glancing through it, skipping through the document, able to tell that actually what you want, what you wanted to do, you really the content itself speak to what the study to achieve. That's face validity. Reliability aspect of your proposal, of your document, should be able to do or they pertain to the consistency and the stability of the result obtained from the measurement processes. That now all the statistical analysis and everything that was done actually is consistent. One is not speaking against another. There's that coherence. and is suitable, the document, your literature, your topic, and everything about the study is sync with one another. So that there are different kinds of types of reliability as well as validity as well. But these are the ones that I focus on. You can read more and apply them to your study. So now we have a first one on the reliability, which talks about consistency of the measurement. Confirm that the measurement tool will produce consistent result across different samples and over time. That the word that you're able to prove, you're able to tell the reader that what all these measurement tools will produce the result if you on or the result on this on your sample and other samples that are if you use it on different sample which is in line with your population, it's going to produce the same thing. Now let's say you use a quantitative method and someone do the same research using quantitative method and using a different sample, but within using a different sample within the same sector, will attempt to have the same result, and it's been done over a period. It's done in 2024. It's gonna have the same. It's gonna have probably have the same. It's gonna hit the same thing. But however, remember, things can change. But we found out that whatever you have found out is still gonna be deviate. They won't be much different from what was done time past. So that is what you need to prove. And then takes greatest reliability indicate that the findings will be suitable over time. It's not gonna change. So if you repeat that, if you repeat your analysis with the same group of sample size, you're still gonna have the same thing. Inter-rater reliability measure the agreement among different people observing the same thing. That if there are a couple of people doing the same thing you are doing with the same sample, that your findings will be aligned to each other. If you have done it, the study, and I still do the same thing, I'm gonna do the same thing within that sector, within that sample size, we're gonna find the same thing. You're gonna observe, find the same thing, and that is it. Now, the final aspect of your proposal, which is the layout of the study, it presents the sections or the chapters in the study to cover. The chapters to cover in the study. For example, chapter 1, we deal with the introduction of the study. So what this layout is all about, which you need to present it. Remember, when you're talking about the level of proposal or project, you're able to tell the reader it's a micro to view of the study, right? So you're able to tell you that, okay, that this is a proposal level. However, this study will be able to achieve all these kind of sections, chapters. Chapter 1 we deal with introduction. You're able to give 1 or 2 lines of what you mean by introduction of this study, because it may mean something different to another person in a different study. We're able to say, okay, based on this study, when you're talking about chapter 1, it's gonna cover this. Chapter 2 is gonna cover literature means this to this study. Chapter 3, research methodology, it means this to this study. You're able to give 1 or 2 lines about what that means. Don't just list them like this, okay? But give a little description of each of those chapters, and then chapter 5 is gonna deal with conclusion, recommendation, and future stuff. Give a little description of what that chapter intend to do, and that is what the layout of the study. And this, remember, a study can depend on how voluminous your study is, the content. It can have more than 5 chapters. So this is just an example and everything, because I've seen a study whereby and in literature review is being divided based on the theory and the review of existing literature and all that. So we found out that literature review can have 2 chapters, which may be chapter 2 chapter 3, and then chapter 3 becomes chapter 1, and as the case may be. And then under under chapter 3, you have maybe if you're using a mixed method right now under research methodology, you have all those methods being discussed in a different chapter. It can be done, but this is what you can expect under your layout of the study. In conclusion, this presentation covers the following, giving a highlight of what the important significance of the study is and how it can be applied. Limitation, what we mean by limitation of this study That's what you're talking about, those kind of constraints, those things that can hinder you, that can be a challenge to the study. What the study is not, you're able to bring every kinds of exclusions, the study will not cover. Reliability and validity and reliability, talking about how the trustability of your findings of your study, and the layout bring out overview of different chapters of the study. Each should be backed by empirical evidence, more especially on the important limitation, what the study is not, and validity. On the section of the part of layout of the study, you don't need to cite anything. Thank you so much. Please, if you have any question, please write to me on the email, and then also you can also drop your comment. Thank you so much. See you next time. Please remember to subscribe. Thank you and goodbye.